Hey there, hope you had a great day. We're going to move on to the fun part of lesson 2.4, where we talk about and we learn how to write parallel and perpendicular lines. So the first thing we need to ponder is, how do I know when two lines are parallel or if they're perpendicular? And then once I know that, how do I write the equation of a line that is parallel or perpendicular to a given line? So let's get started on that. All right, let's talk about parallel lines. Parallel lines never intersect. So in order for that to happen, what do you think has to be said about their slope? Well, for them never to intersect, their slope has to be equal. Otherwise, eventually they would meet. So we're going to use that to write a parallel line. If we know the slope of a line, just any line, then we know the slope of every line in the universe that's parallel to it, okay? And we're just going to use the same slope. So here's our strategy when we're working with parallel lines. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to use the same slope as the line that's given to us. The line can be given to us in many ways. It could be given to us in slope-intercept form. It could be given to us in standard form. It could be given to us in 2 points. But once we figure out the slope of that line that's given, then we use it to write a line that goes through a different point. We're going to label that different point x1, y1. We're going to write an equation. Depending on the point that they give us, we could use point-slope form, or we might be able to use slope-intercept form. We're going to plug in, distribute when we need it, and then we're going to solve for y. So let's go ahead and try a couple. Let's do this one together. Write an equation of a new line parallel to the line y equals 3x plus 2. This is my given line. And through the point negative 2, 1. So here my slope is 3. So I'm going to use it to write the slope, to write my new line. I have to use the same because they're parallel. Same slope. Then my point is negative 2, 1. I'm going to use the point slope formula because this is not the y-intercept. And then I get y minus 1 equals 3 times x plus 2 minus a negative goes positive, and I'm down here. Now I'm going to distribute. So I get y minus 1 is equal to 3x plus 6. Then I'm going to add 1. Y is equal to 3x plus 7. And there we go. That line is parallel to this one, and it goes through the point negative 2, 1. Right? So why don't you hit pause? You do this one. Notice what point they're giving us. Notice what point they're giving us, and then answer the question. It'll be the solution or the equation to this one here as your video question, and then come back and check your work. All right, here we go. I'm going to do this 2 ways. Parallel, so my slope is negative a half. All right, and I'm going through the point 0, 1. I happen to recognize that as the y-intercept, so I'm going to go straight into slope-intercept form, and I get y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus 1. If I hadn't remembered, I could go the long way, and I could start at the same point here, but I could go into y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, and everything will come out in the wash just fine. Y minus 1 equals negative a half times x minus 0. Distribute negative 1/2 x plus 0, and then add 1. See how we get the same answer? Negative 1/2 x plus 1. So I get the same answer. It's just one is definitely fewer steps if you recognize that you have the y-intercept. So it behooves you to be able to do that. Now we're going to talk about perpendicular lines. And when we draw perpendicular lines, I'm going to let me draw this one. Trying to stay away from my controls here. Okay, and now my perpendicular is going to be, I start here. Okay, and so I go like this, and these make a right angle. What do you notice about the slope? Well, the slope of the red line is negative 1/2. I counted purposely up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. And the slope of my purple line is positive 2. So notice they are opposite signs and flipped fractions or reciprocals. So flip the sign, flip the fraction. Flip the sign, flip the fraction. Flip the sign, flip the fraction. So when we're writing perpendicular lines, we're going to follow the same idea. We're going to look at our given line, and then we're going to take the opposite reciprocal slope. Then we're going to take the point that we want our new line to go through and label it x1, y1. Depending on the point that they give us, we're going to write an equation for a formula for an equation. We're going to plug in, we're going to distribute if we need to, and then we're going to solve for y. All right? So here we have the line. This is our given line. Y equals 3x plus 2. What's the opposite reciprocal? Well, the slope of this line is 3, but I want the opposite reciprocal or the perpendicular slope, so I use this little perpendicular symbol that you learned from Mrs. Abeg, and it's going to be flip the sign, flip the fraction. There's my new slope. I'm going to label my point as x1, y1, and then I'm going to go into point slope formula because I don't have the y-intercept. Right, let me see if I can get rid of that long line there. Okay, then I'm going to plug in. Makes me crazy. Y minus 1 equals negative 1/3 x plus 3, that's minus a negative, okay, and then I'm going to distribute, and then I'm going to add, and I get y is equal to negative 1/3 x, okay? So on this one, why don't you go ahead and hit pause, work it out. The video question will be asking you what the equation of the perpendicular line is to y equals negative 1/2 x minus 7, and then we'll come back and check your work. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. My slope of the line that I'm given is equal to a negative 1/2. So my perpendicular slope is equal to positive 2. So now I have y minus y1, my point, this is x1, y1, m times x minus x1, and so I have y plus 1 equals 2 times x minus 3. Y plus 1 equals 2x minus 6. subtract, subtract, y equals 2x minus 7. All right, there we go. And here's our daily assignment page. And look at that. What? Only 5 problems tomorrow. Daily assignment. All right, so here we go. Good news. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.